My girlfriend yelled in front of everyone. You'll never be good enough for me. I smiled and said softly, maybe you're right. Then I turned around, got in my car, and drove away without looking back. Hours later, one of her friends texted me. You know what she said after you left? I typed back, what? Her reply came a few seconds later. And that one sentence shook my entire world. Dear friends, please subscribe to my channel. It's very important for my encouragement. Thank you. I'm 29, and until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had my life figured out. I had been with my girlfriend for 4 years. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party, hit it off immediately, and within 6 months, we were living together. She worked in marketing for a tech startup, always ambitious, always climbing. I respected that about her. I thought we were building something real. The night it all fell apart was supposed to be a celebration. Her company had just closed a major deal, and she wanted to throw a party at our apartment. I spent the entire day cleaning, setting up, making sure everything was perfect. About 30 people showed up, her coworkers, some friends, a few people I didn't know. I was in the kitchen refilling ice when I heard her voice cut through the music. Honestly, I don't know why I'm still with him. I froze. She was talking to 3 of her coworkers near the balcony. I could see them through the doorway, drinks in hand, laughing. One of them said, "Come on, he seems nice." She laughed. It wasn't a kind laugh. Nice doesn't pay for a lifestyle. Nice doesn't get you into the rooms that matter. I need someone who matches my energy, you know? Someone who's going places. I stood there holding a bag of ice, feeling it melt against my palms. Then she saw me. Our eyes locked for maybe 2 seconds. She didn't look embarrassed. She looked annoyed that I'd heard. I walked over calmly, set the ice down on the table next to them, and she said it, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. You'll never be good enough for me. The conversations around us died. People were staring. I could feel every eye in the room on us. My chest felt tight, but I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of seeing me break. I smiled. Not a happy smile, just something to keep my face from showing what I really felt. Maybe you're right, I said softly. Then I grabbed my keys from the counter, walked out the door, got in my car, and drove. I didn't know where I was going. I just drove for hours, windows down, music off, trying to process what had just happened. Around midnight, I checked into a budget hotel near the airport. I turned off my phone and stared at the ceiling until I finally fell asleep around 4 a.m. When I woke up the next morning, my phone had 47 missed calls and over 100 texts. Most were from her. A few were from friends who'd been at the party. I ignored all of them except one. It was from her friend, Natalie. We'd always gotten along well. She was one of the few people in her circle who treated me like a person, not an accessory. Her text said, "Hey, I know you probably don't want to talk to anyone right now, but I think you should know something. Can I call you?" I texted back. Not ready to talk. Just text me whatever it is. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, her message came through. You know what she said after you left? I felt my stomach drop. I typed back, what? Her reply came a few seconds later. She said, good. Now I don't have to break up with him before the trip to Monaco. Brandon's going to be so much easier to deal with. I read it 3 times. Brandon, her boss, the guy she'd been working late nights with for the past 6 months. The guy she said was just a mentor. The guy who, apparently, was taking her to Monaco. I sat on the edge of that hotel bed for 20 minutes, just staring at my phone. Then I did something I'm not proud of, but I'm not sorry for either. I logged into our shared cloud account, the one we used for photos and documents. She never changed the password. I found a folder titled Work Trips. Inside were dozens of photos. Her and Brandon in Miami. Her and Brandon in New York. Her and Brandon in what looked like a very expensive hotel room. Champagne glasses on the nightstand, his arm around her waist. The timestamps went back 9 months. Update 1: I didn't go back to the apartment for 3 days. I stayed in that hotel, ordered takeout, and started planning. I wasn't interested in revenge in the dramatic sense. I just wanted to make sure I came out of this without getting destroyed financially or emotionally. First, I called a lawyer. Our apartment was in both our names, but I'd been paying 70% of the rent for the past 2 years because she was investing in her career. The furniture, the TV, the expensive espresso machine she insisted we needed, I'd paid for most of it. The lawyer told me to document everything. So I did. I went through bank statements, credit card records, receipts. I made spreadsheets. I took screenshots of texts where she'd asked me to cover her half of rent. Just this once, that turned into a pattern. On day 4, I finally went back to the apartment. She was there, sitting on the couch with red eyes like she'd been crying. The place was still a mess from the party. "Where have you been?" she asked, standing up. "I've been worried sick." I set my bag down. "Have you?" "Of course I have. You just left without saying anything. You told 30 people I wasn't good enough for you," I said. My voice was calm. Too calm. "What exactly did you want me to say?" She bit her lip. "I was drunk. I didn't mean it like that." "Which part didn't you mean? The part where you said I don't match your energy, or the part where you said nice doesn't pay for a lifestyle?" Her face changed. The fake concern dropped. "You were eavesdropping? You were talking about me 10 feet away." She crossed her arms. "Look, I'm sorry if your feelings were hurt, but you've been coasting for years. I'm out there building a career, making connections, and you're just comfortable. I need more than comfortable." I nodded slowly. "Does Brandon give you more than comfortable?" Her eyes went wide. Just for a second, but I caught it. "Who told you?" She stopped herself. "It's not what you think. Natalie showed me the photos. I lied. I wanted to see if she'd confess or double down." She doubled down. "We're co-workers. Those were work trips. You're being paranoid." I pulled out my phone, opened the cloud folder, and held up a photo of her and Brandon in bathrobes, clearly in the same hotel room, clearly not working. Her face went white. "Get out," I said. "This is my apartment too. Actually, according to the lease and the payment history, I've covered 70% of the rent for 2 years. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to pack a bag and leave. Tonight. Then you're going to find somewhere else to stay while we figure out how to break the lease. And if you fight me on any of this, I'm going to send these photos to HR at your company." I looked up the policy. They have a strict no fraternization clause between supervisors and subordinates. She stared at me like I'd just spoken a foreign language. "You wouldn't. Try me." Update 2: She left that night. Went to stay with Brandon, from what I heard later. I changed the locks the next morning. Technically against the lease, but I didn't care. I was past the point of playing fair. 2 days later, I got a call from Natalie again. "You need to hear this," she said without preamble. "She's telling everyone you were abusive, that you controlled her money and isolated her from friends." I felt cold. "What?" She's spinning the whole thing. She posted this long story on her private Instagram about how she finally escaped a toxic relationship. People are eating it up. I was shaking. "I know," Natalie said. "That's why I'm telling you. I was there. I saw how she treated you. But she's good at this. She's making herself the victim." I asked her to screenshot everything she could. Then I called my lawyer again. He told me to stay quiet, don't engage, and keep documenting. He also told me that defamation cases are hard to win, but if she kept going, we might have a shot. I didn't have to wait long. 3 days later, she posted publicly on social media a long, emotional post about finding the courage to leave and rebuilding after narcissistic abuse. She didn't name me, but she didn't have to. Everyone who knew us could connect the dots. My phone started blowing up. Friends asking if I was okay. A few people who barely knew me sending messages like, "I always knew something was off about you." I wanted to scream. I wanted to post the photos, the bank statements, the evidence. But my lawyer said to wait. Then Brandon made a mistake. He commented on her post. Something supportive, something about being there for her through the healing process. Someone must have recognized his name, because within 24 hours, someone had reported them to HR. Apparently, multiple people at their company had suspected the affair, but never had proof. Her public post, combined with his comment, was enough to trigger an investigation. Update 3: The investigation took 2 weeks. During that time, I moved out of the apartment entirely. Broke the lease, paid the penalty, found a smaller place across town. I didn't care about the money anymore. I just wanted distance. Natalie kept me updated. Apparently, the HR investigation uncovered not just the affair, but the fact that Brandon had been approving inflated expense reports for her trips. They'd been stealing from the company, small amounts, but enough to matter. They both got fired. She tried to call me the day it happened. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. "This is your fault. You ruined my life because you couldn't handle me being successful. I hope you're happy." I deleted it without responding. A week later, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "This is Brandon. We need to talk." I blocked him immediately. Then, about a month after everything exploded, I ran into one of her old co-workers at a coffee shop. She looked uncomfortable when she saw me, but she walked over anyway. Hey, she said. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For believing her. For not asking your side. I shrugged. It's fine. It's not, she said. She's doing the same thing to Brandon now. Telling people he manipulated her into the affair, that she was scared to say no because he was her boss. She's throwing him under the bus to save herself. I wasn't surprised. Just tired. Good luck to him, I said. Final update, it's been 3 months now. I heard through mutual friends that she moved back in with her parents in another state. Brandon's apparently dealing with his own fallout. His wife left him, and he's struggling to find work in the industry. I don't feel sorry for either of them. As for me, I'm doing okay. Better than okay, honestly. I got a small promotion at work, moved into a place I actually like, started going to the gym again. I even went on a date last week. Nothing serious. But it felt good to remember what it's like to talk to someone who doesn't make me feel small. Natalie and I still talk sometimes. She apologized about a dozen times for not saying something sooner. I told her it wasn't her responsibility, but I appreciate that she did eventually. I still think about that night sometimes. Standing in my own apartment, hearing the person I love tell strangers I wasn't good enough. The weird thing is, she was right in a way. I wasn't good enough for her. But that's because her version of good enough meant being willing to ignore who I was, what I valued, and how I wanted to live my life. I'm good enough for me now. That's what matters.